Let me share with you all what I've learned so far about being in a relationship. Courtney, I love her. We are having such a great time. One thing that I'm learning about relationship is the fact that we have to be willing to rise to the occasion. I don't care where you are in your life, how spiritually mature you can be, or areas of opportunities that you need. You may not be the nicest person, you may not have the greatest attitude, you may not know a lot about anything. But what relationship will do is it will test to see how high you're willing to rise to the occasion. Are you willing to be all that God has called you to be? And God will use the person that you're with to assess where you are with rising to the occasion. God has called us to a higher ground. But in our single life, if we haven't prepared the right way, and even if you have prepared, as much as you feel that you're prepared, you're really not prepared. The relationship prepares you for marriage. And in that preparation process, it comes with seeing you for what you really look like. There's a part of a mirror that we can look at in our single life. We're just looking at ourselves. But it's something when someone else can show you something in you that you didn't even know existed, like an insecurity or an area where you may have an interesting way or a bad way. Let me go ahead and just say what it is: a bad way of using words, a poor choice of words. It will show in relationship, but your determination, your that fire that's inside of you to say, you know what, it's on me to change this. That thing, that ability to say, it's on me, I'm going to do better, I will be better, and I'm going to be better for me and for what God has called me to be. That is what makes you better. That's what makes you rise to the occasion. That's what allows you to elevate yourself. And while you're elevating yourself, the things that you're showing your mate and them, it allows them to also rise as well. So you're both rising to the occasion. Marriage is a ministry, and in order to be prepared for ministry, you have to have a level of knowledge. All of the knowledge, the wisdom comes from God. So He is using that person in your life and the other people that He has in your life as well. And they're working together as a perfectly orchestrated symphony to give you everything that you need in your life. And it's a continual learning process. And from what I've been told and the things that I've been able to research and the people that I've been around that are married, it continues to happen even after marriage. You continue to reflect one another and you're continually showing the love of Christ to one another. Now that love is very, I say that it's very interesting. I like to use that word interesting because it allows for us to see really what the love of Christ is. The times where we didn't pursue Christ, the times that we sinned against Him, we cheated on Him with sin, we separate ourselves from Him, we walked away from Him, we've done things our own way. These are the things that our mate will do in our lives. Now, they may not cheat on us with another person, but they may become selfish. And we still are called to love. Husbands, we're still called to love as Christ loved the church. The church is us. Christ loved us so much. He loved me so much, even when I wasn't following Him the way that I should have been following Him. He still pursued me. So husbands, fellas, we got a big responsibility. Are you ready for that? I'm not ready for that yet, but I'm being prepared for that now. And as I continually prepare, the confidence is not in my own abilities, it's in God's ability that works through me to be able to, in those moments when I'm like, you know what? And as most or half of Americans are doing now, I don't feel like doing this anymore. That ability that God is using through me is going to allow me to get through that moment. The times where you're like, I'm not feeling this person anymore. I'm not really feeling the situation. And when we're not feeling the situation, we're inclined to leave. We're inclined to flee when we are in a fight. We can do a fight or flight syndrome. A lot of us will choose flight. But before you take flight, make sure you're getting the right signal from that air traffic controller. Jesus is in your ear like, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And if you're loving my daughter, your wife, as Christ loves the church, it behooves you to stay and work this thing out. I know it's hard, I know it's difficult, but will you rise to the occasion? You've been challenged. You've been pushed down. You've been deserted. You've been neglected. Will you rise to the occasion? A relationship will test your ability to rise to the occasion. Will you be the example of what you want to see in your mate? Will you be the example when they don't want to talk to you, when they don't want to initiate with you? Will you continue to keep pursuing within reason? You don't want to fan the flames. You don't want to start an argument. But within reason, using tact, using different strategies, using the way that you know your mate. This is why it's so important to get to know your mate, is because there's different strategies that you can implement to get them to open up at the right time. I'm not saying you're doing this when they're upset or when they don't want to say anything at all because they're that upset. But in the appropriate time, how are you going to use what you know about your mate to be able to get them and make them comfortable enough, not even just get them to talk, allow them the freedom to be able to talk. Are we good listeners? Are we good communicators? All of these things to be tested. So are you willing to rise to the occasion? The relationship will answer that question. And for those of us that are in relationship or those of us that are not in relationship, we'll wait for that answer. But while we're waiting, let's keep working.